What's going on, beautiful people? Daniel Magyar here in the building, and today I'm going to talk about a topic that is literally making people overeat, and it's of course related to their mindset. Because I talk to people daily who are trying to lose weight, and oftentimes I get into this conversation with people where they're constantly trying to defend they have to eat more and more just to maintain healthy metabolism, just to maintain their thyroid function, just to maintain this and that. And they constantly talk about calories, and how you need to eat to fuel the body and keep it healthy, but they're not losing weight. As an adult, you don't need that much food. You really don't. You hit your protein goals, 1 gram per pound, and a lot of it can come from essential amino acids, such as fortigen. So if you get 100 grams of protein from fortigen, which is about 2 scoops, and then another 100 grams from protein from the food, from animal sources, you're pretty much all good with the protein source for the day, and the rest of it is just coming from the fat. If you're doing carnivore, if you're doing some animal-based and you want to have some fruit before and after workout, it has to fit within the calorie limit. The point is, as an adult, you don't need that much food. The reason why you're not losing weight is because you're eating too much, way too much. And people constantly come up with the idea of how they need to eat, but then they're not losing weight. And then they're frustrated they're not losing weight. So they call it unhealthy thyroid or hormonal imbalance, this and that. No thyroid or hormonal imbalance matters when there's calorie deficiency. If you find yourself in the Second World War, 1943, Berlin, or whatever other city, you're losing weight. You're in a deficiency, you got nothing to eat. It doesn't matter. The body doesn't care about hormones, doesn't care about the thyroid, none of that. If there's a nutritional deficiency, the body's going to shrink. Period. 100%. So if you're not losing weight, that means that you're eating way too much, and you're convincing yourself that it's okay to eat that much to support a healthy metabolism. But what's happening, you're just psychologically afraid of the hunger. You don't want to feel hungry. It's uncomfortable. And that's where the whole problem lies. People are afraid to feel hungry. They think hunger is an enemy. They think hunger is something that is making the body weaker. However, hunger is extremely beneficial for the body. It resets the insulin sensitivity. It's making you more sensitive to the insulin because you're in a calorie deficiency. Now you're doing some physical activity. You're eating sufficient amount of protein, so you're not only defending the muscle, but also building some muscle. And the body is constantly more and more sensitive to the insulin, so you need to produce less and less, and you lose weight, and you fix your blood pressure, and your blood glucose levels stabilize. And all these benefits are coming from the calorie deficiency. So hunger is very beneficial. Now, if you think you need to eat so much just to keep the healthy metabolism, why are you not losing weight? Your strategy doesn't work. It's a failed technology. You are just afraid of calorie deficit. It's as simple as that. So you really need to come to peace with the hunger and accept it as the best friend who's going to help you heal the body. Now, if you don't want to feel hungry and you still want to be in a deficiency, we got amazing product, Reda, which is going to help you stay in a deficiency and not feel hungry. It's going to trigger more glucagon release from your pancreas, and it's going to signal the brain, it's going to trick the brain pretty much that you're not hungry. So for you, staying in a calorie deficit will be tremendously easy. So much easier than without it. And if you have questions about Reda, you can just shoot me a DM. But if you want to use pure discipline, you gotta get through it. Like, a hunger is a sign of a deficiency. Now, it's very hard for you to lose weight if you're constantly satiated. It is just pretty much a point where you're circling in the same circle on your chest and your tail at the same body weight, and you're coming up with all these scientific reasons how you're doing things correctly just to justify that you cannot scientifically go lower on calories. First of all, you don't even keep track of your calories. That's a problem number one. Second of all, your eating habits are keeping you at the same body weight at the best. Or if you just let loose and you let go of all the restrictions, you keep gaining weight because that's your standard setting. You know, most people's default setting in food is to gain weight because they eat too much, and the choices they make are disastrous. And most likely they had bad food eating habits in a childhood, and they just continue doing that as an adult as well. So if people really use solely their discipline, at the most I see them plateau. And then they complain they cannot lose weight because of this hormonal issue, that hormonal issue, this gland is not working, that gland is not working. They get all scientific about it. They did all kinds of blood work, where the answer is simple: just eat less. Now, I can't just eat less. I'm going to destroy my metabolism. My brother, you have been overfeeding for the past 35 years. You're fine. Trust me, you're fine. You're not going to die by eating less. And then you realize, once when you get muscular and lean, that you don't really need that much food. You really don't. If you don't want to count your calories and you only want to listen to the signals of the body, you only eat when you're truly biologically, physically hungry. And you realize that these hunger signals don't come as often when you're on a healthy diet, maybe once or twice a day. And when you want to cut out the feeding window, as soon as you feel 70% satiated, you realize that you don't need to eat that much food. And now you're staying lean for the first time in your life, but it goes against your belief system. You always believe you got to eat more. It's not you have to eat more to stay healthy. It's you want to eat more. It's just how you are. You want to keep eating more and more and more because that's what you've been doing your whole life, and it's tough to let that old habit go. So you really don't need motivation for the future. You need funeral for your past. It's all psychological, you know? And whatever diet you try to follow, we got better diets like carnivore, animal-based, and then we got the worst diets, which are, you know, traditional diets with lean protein and all the greens and nonsense like that. But each diet is going to make you lose weight. Vegan diet is going to make you lose muscle as well. So now when we look at this fact, you really just fix in your understanding of food, your understanding of diet, and your understanding of how you're supposed to live as a lean, healthy person versus fixing the science. You're all scientific. You're way too scientific. That's the problem. If you're eating less and you simplify things, you're going to lose weight. Oftentimes I get from my clients when they sign up for my program and they start following the program a couple of weeks in, they tell me it's so simple. I didn't really believe it's that simple. I'm like, yes, because that's how body works. And right now I don't complicate things for you. I can get all scientific, wordy. How does that help? It doesn't. It makes you more confused. It makes you feel like you can't do it. Why do I love listening to Warren Buffett? Because he makes you feel like you can be rich too. Like it's for you as well. So if you leave all the science away and you just start listening to your own body signals and you realize how simple the weight loss is, you will understand that you can lose unlimited amount of weight if you want to as well. It's not only for those lean people. And you can be one of those lean people as well, but you got to fix your understanding of what the weight loss actually is. So stop eating so much. As an adult, you don't need that much food. You've been overeating for the past 35 years. Trust me, you can handle a year of deficiency. Actually, that's going to be beneficial. It's going to reset the insulin sensitivity and it's going to put your health back on track. So the best way to really do it is put a cap on the calories. Like you measure foods with the measurement tools like cups and ounces on the kitchen scale, and you don't let yourself cross that calorie intake under any circumstance. And if you're too hungry, take some Reda. It's going to make it easier. Don't increase the calories, take some Reda. Today we got a cheat code, the real weight loss cheat code, which is Reda. Incredible what results my clients are getting with Reda. And it's exactly designed for the people like you who are struggling with the calorie deficiency. You know, because I know that battle that goes in your mind once when you get hungry, you always think, I should eat, and then, you know, you want to get just a little bit of food from your restaurant, and then you order Uber Eats, and then you can't control yourself, finish the whole plate, and you convince yourself that you're only going to get a couple bites, but the couple bites turn into the whole plate, and then you feel regret, and the next day you want to behave better, but then you repeat the same habit, and then by end of the week you step on the scale, and now you're 4 pounds up. Welcome back to your old eating habits. You didn't fix anything. So really the way to fix it is to cap the calories and do not cross it. And then you'll see nice and steady weight loss, weight loss, weight loss constantly. Okay? And you're going to be happy. You're going to be motivated. It's like getting paid from your job. Results in fitness are like paycheck at your job. If you're not getting the results, you're going to be demotivated. You're not going to be motivated to keep going. It's not going to make sense to you. And then you slowly go back to your old eating habits, which is going to make you put on more and more weight. So let's not do that. That's a failed technology. Let's understand that as an adult, you need very little food. If you don't want to track calories, and you want to simplify this, Listen to the signals from your body. And when you get physically hungry, not psychologically, psychologically that's the craving. Psychologically, you're going to be hungry all day. It's always a good time to get a burrito, margarita, or pizza, remember. You always come up with the reason why you should eat pizza when you're not hungry. I mean physically hungry. Your stomach is growling. Your stomach is empty. Your body is craving nutrients. You're hungry. The body is ready to break down new nutrients. It's tapping into the fat source because there's a deficiency of energy coming from the external sources. The body's tapping into the internal sources. Wait for that moment and then feed the body. And don't ever get yourself full to 100%. Ever. 70% maximum. You heard about priming. You heard about fixing your hormones with overeating like you're supposed to do carnivore diet and overfeed yourself like Thanksgiving 3 times a day. Bullshit. Doesn't work. You're going to get so fat, your head's going to spin. Absolute nonsense. I don't know who came up with that crap, but it doesn't work. It's going to get you very fat. It will. And I have people who have gained 40, 50 pounds on priming. 40, 50 pounds. For some people, that's a whole year of work. For the disciplined ones, it's about 6 months of work. Okay? And they believe they're fixing themselves because they were listening to all the science. You need to eat more to recover the anabolic hormones and to get your testosterone levels back up and to get your thyroid levels back up. You need so much food and you need to overfeed yourself 3 times a day. You haven't been eating enough of good nutrients. Dude is 300 pounds at 5'8". You're telling me he hasn't been eating enough? He's been eating more than enough his entire life. Like, what the hell is that about? It's an absolute nonsense, this entire scientific approach. Stay with the logic. If you're fat, you eat too much. Cut back on it. Introduce a little bit of hunger. And if you can't handle the hunger, use some Rita, the cheat code. And you're going to lose weight left and right. You're going to be so happy with the results. And then you look back on all the scientific approaches and you call it crap. It's bullshit. You don't need it. Stay with the logic. That's it for today's video. And I'm out.